Welcome back, my friends. I'm Alex, and today I want to tell you a story. A story about a woman who discovered something powerful. She discovered that controlling her brain was the secret to controlling her life. She discovered that mastering her thoughts was the secret to mastering her English. And this story might change everything for you too. But before I begin, let me ask you something. How many thoughts do you have every day that tell you negative things? How many thoughts tell you that you're not good enough? How many thoughts tell you that you can't speak English? How many thoughts stop you from trying? If you're like most people, hundreds of thoughts like this attack your mind every single day, and you believe them, you obey them, you let them control your life. But what if I told you something? What if I told you that you don't have to believe every thought in your mind? What if I told you that you can control your brain? What if I told you that mastering your thoughts is the key to mastering your English speaking? Today's story is about a woman named Lisa. For years, Lisa believed every negative thought in her mind. She believed she couldn't speak English. She believed she wasn't smart enough. She believed she would always fail. But then, she learned something that changed absolutely everything. Let me take you back to the beginning. Part 1. The woman trapped in her mind. Lisa was 26 years old. She lived in Bangkok, Thailand. She worked as a financial analyst at an international company. On the outside, everything looked successful. She had a good job. She made good money. She had respect from her colleagues. But inside, Lisa was suffering. You see, Lisa had a problem that had controlled her entire life. She couldn't stop her negative thoughts. She couldn't stop overthinking. Her mind was like a prison. Every single day, thousands of negative thoughts attacked her. When she tried to speak English in a meeting, her thoughts would say, "You sound stupid. Everyone is judging you. Your accent is terrible. You don't deserve this job. You should quit." When she tried to have a conversation with her English-speaking colleagues, her thoughts would say, "They think you're weird. They're bored. You're talking too much. You're talking too little. You're not smart enough to be here." When she looked in the mirror, her thoughts would say, "You're ugly. You're not good enough. Everyone else is better than you. Why do you even try?" Lisa believed every single one of these thoughts. She thought these thoughts were truth. She thought this was just how reality was. So she let them control her. She stopped participating in meetings. She avoided speaking English. She became smaller and smaller. She hid herself because her thoughts told her to hide. One day, Lisa was having lunch with her friend Maya. Maya was also from Thailand, but Maya was completely different from Lisa. Maya spoke English confidently. Maya participated in meetings. Maya laughed easily. Maya seemed to have no anxiety. Lisa asked Maya, "How are you so confident? How do you not worry about what people think?" Maya smiled. She said, "Lisa, can I tell you something? I used to be exactly like you. I used to have all the same negative thoughts. I used to believe everything my mind told me. But then, I learned something that changed my life." "What?" Lisa asked eagerly. "I learned that not every thought in my mind is true," Maya said. "Most of my negative thoughts are just fear. Most are just old habits. Most are just self-doubt. But they're not truth. And when I realized that, everything changed." Lisa felt confused. "But if a thought is in my mind, doesn't that mean it's true?" Maya shook her head. "No. Your brain produces thousands of thoughts every day. Most are garbage. Most are fear. Most are from your past. But you don't have to believe them. You don't have to obey them." That conversation stayed in Lisa's mind. That night, she couldn't sleep because she kept thinking about what Maya said. Could it be true? Could her thoughts not be true? Could she control her brain instead of her brain controlling her? Lisa made a decision. She decided to learn about how her brain works. She decided to understand why she was thinking these negative thoughts. She decided to learn how to control her mind instead of letting her mind control her. Part 2. Understanding the brain. Lisa started researching. She read books about neuroscience. She watched videos about psychology. She listened to podcasts about mindfulness. And slowly, she began to understand something very important. She learned that the brain is like a muscle. When you practice something every day, your brain adapts. When you practice fear, your brain becomes fearful. When you practice negative thinking, your brain becomes negative. But when you practice positive thinking, your brain becomes positive. When you practice focus, your brain becomes focused. For years, Lisa had practiced fear. Every single day, she had practiced overthinking. She had practiced worrying. She had practiced negative self-talk. So, of course, her brain was fearful. Of course, her brain was negative. She had trained it that way. But here was the good news. If she had trained her brain to be negative, she could retrain it to be positive. Lisa learned something else. She learned that she is not her thoughts. Her thoughts are just things that happen in her mind. They're like clouds passing through the sky. They appear, and then they disappear. But most people identify with their thoughts. They think, if I'm thinking it, it must be true about me. But this is wrong. Lisa realized that for years she had believed thoughts like, "You're stupid," or "You can't speak English," or "You're not good enough." And she had thought these were truth about herself. But they weren't. They were just thoughts, just patterns that her fearful brain had created. The moment Lisa realized this, something shifted inside her. She realized that she could watch her thoughts without believing them. She could notice when her brain was producing fear, and she could say, "That's just fear. That's not truth." She decided to start small. She decided to begin controlling her brain one thought at a time. Part 3. Taking control. The next morning, Lisa woke up and immediately started practicing. She noticed her first negative thought. It said, "You're going to have a terrible day." Instead of just believing it, she paused. She asked herself a question. Is this true? Or is this just fear? She realized it was just fear. Her brain was producing fear because she had a work meeting today. But this fear wasn't truth. So she changed it. She said to herself, "I'm going to have a good day. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to do my best." At first, this felt strange. It felt fake. But she kept doing it. Later that day, she went to a meeting. Her brain immediately produced a negative thought. Everyone is judging you. Your English is bad. You shouldn't speak. But Lisa paused. She noticed the thought. She recognized it as fear, not truth. And instead of obeying it, she did something different. She spoke up in the meeting. She shared an idea. The idea wasn't perfect. Her English wasn't perfect. But you know what? Nobody died. Nobody judged her. Everyone just listened and responded to her idea. Her fear had been lying to her. This was a breakthrough moment for Lisa. She realized that her negative thoughts had been wrong. They had been lying to her. But she had believed them for so long that she thought they were truth. Over the next few weeks, Lisa practiced controlling her thoughts. Every time a negative thought appeared, she would pause. She would ask, "Is this true? Or is this fear?" Then she would replace it with something more truthful. When her brain said, "You can't speak English," she would say, "I'm learning English. Every day, I'm getting better." When her brain said, "Everyone thinks you're stupid," she would say, "I'm intelligent. I have value. I deserve to be here." When her brain said, "You're going to fail," she would say, "I'm going to try my best. That's all I can do." It was like she was retraining her brain. Every single day, she was teaching her brain new patterns. And slowly, her brain began to change. Part 4. Building focus and discipline. Lisa also learned something else important. She learned that her brain adapts to what she practices. If she practiced distraction, her brain would become distracted. If she practiced focus, her brain would become focused. So she decided to practice focus. Every single day, she would spend 15 minutes focusing on one task without any distractions. No phone, no emails, no notifications, just pure focus on one thing. At first, 15 minutes felt impossible. Her brain wanted to jump to her phone. Her brain wanted to check emails. Her brain wanted to do something else, but she kept practicing. After 1 week, 15 minutes became easy. After 2 weeks, she could focus for 20 minutes. After 1 month, she could focus for 30 minutes without any distractions. And something amazing happened. The more she practiced focus, the more she could focus on her work. The more she could focus on her English speaking. The more she could focus on any task. Lisa also realized something about her self-talk. She realized that the words she spoke to herself inside her mind shaped who she was. If she told herself, "I'm stupid," she would start believing it and acting stupidly. If she told herself, "I'm capable," she would start believing it and acting capably. So she became very careful about what she said to herself. She started speaking to herself like she was speaking to a friend she loved. Instead of being harsh and critical, she became kind and encouraging. When she made a mistake in English, instead of saying, "You're terrible at English," she would say, "That was a learning opportunity. Next time, I'll do better." When she felt anxious before a meeting, instead of saying, "You're going to fail," she would say, "I'm prepared. I'm going to do my best. That's enough." This change in self-talk changed everything. Her confidence grew. Her anxiety decreased. Her English speaking improved. All because she changed what she was saying to herself inside her mind. Part 5. Controlling emotions. Lisa also learned an important skill. She learned how to control her emotions before they controlled her actions. In the past, Lisa would feel anxiety, and she would immediately avoid speaking. She would feel self-doubt, and she would immediately quit trying. She would feel fear, and she would immediately run away. But she realized that emotions are temporary. They come and go. And if she could pause between feeling an emotion and acting on it, she could make better choices. One day, Lisa was in a meeting, and someone asked her a question in English. Immediately, she felt anxiety. She felt fear. She felt the urge to stay silent. But instead of immediately giving in to the emotion, she paused. She took a slow breath. She named the emotion. This is anxiety. This is fear. But it's temporary. It's not permanent. It's not truth. Then she chose her action consciously. Instead of staying silent, she answered the question. She spoke in English, and she survived. She realized that emotions don't have to control her actions. She can feel an emotion and still take the action she wants to take. She can feel fear and still speak English. She can feel anxiety and still try. This was a powerful realization for Lisa. It meant that her emotions didn't own her. She owned her emotions. She could control her responses. She could be in control. Part 6. Feeding her brain the right information. Lisa also made a big change in what she consumed. She realized that what she put into her brain shaped her brain. Before, she would spend hours scrolling on social media. She would watch videos comparing herself to other people. She would read comments that made her feel bad about herself. She was feeding her brain junk. So she made a change. She started being very careful about what she consumed. She stopped following accounts that made her feel bad about herself. She stopped watching videos that compared her to others. She stopped reading negative comments. Instead, she started consuming material that inspired her. She watched videos about successful people who learned English. She listened to podcasts about personal development. She read books about confidence building. She also changed her environment. She surrounded herself with positive people. She spent more time with friends who supported her. She avoided people who criticized or judged. Her brain was like a garden. If she planted seeds of negativity, she would grow negativity. But if she planted seeds of positivity, she would grow positivity. So she became very careful about what seeds she planted. Part 7. The transformation. 3 months after Lisa started controlling her brain, something incredible happened. She was completely different. Her anxiety had decreased by half. Her confidence had doubled. Her English speaking had improved dramatically. But most importantly, her relationship with her own mind had changed. She was no longer a slave to her thoughts. She was no longer controlled by her emotions. She was no longer trapped in negativity. She was free. One day, her boss asked her to lead a presentation for the entire international team. 15 years ago, Lisa would have said no. 5 years ago, Lisa would have said no. But now, she said yes. She prepared for the presentation. She practiced for hours. But she didn't practice out of fear. She practiced out of preparation. She didn't practice because she thought she would fail. She practiced because she wanted to give her best. The day of the presentation came. Lisa stood in front of the room. She looked at all the faces. She felt some anxiety. She felt some nervousness. But she didn't let these emotions stop her. She took a deep breath. She said to herself, "I've prepared well. I know this material. I can do this." Then she started speaking. She spoke for 40 minutes. In English. To an international audience. And it went beautifully. Not perfectly, but beautifully. Because she was authentic. She was prepared. She was confident. When she finished, people applauded. Her boss smiled. And Lisa felt something she had never felt before. She felt proud of herself. She felt like she had accomplished something real. After the presentation, a young woman from the team came up to her. The young woman looked nervous. She said, "Lisa, how do you speak so confidently in English? I'm so afraid to speak. I want to improve, but my mind keeps telling me I'm not good enough." Lisa smiled. She recognized herself in this young woman. She remembered what it felt like to be controlled by her thoughts. She said, "I want to tell you something. Your thoughts are lying to you. Not every thought in your mind is true. Most of your negative thoughts are just fear. Most are just old patterns, but you don't have to believe them." The young woman looked confused. So Lisa continued. "For the first time in my life, I learned that I am not my thoughts. My thoughts are just things that happen in my mind. They appear, and then they disappear. But I don't have to believe them. I don't have to obey them." "So what do I do?" the young woman asked. "You practice controlling your brain," Lisa said. "Every time a negative thought appears, pause and question it. Is this true? Or is this fear? Then replace it with something more truthful. You practice focus. Your brain adapts to what you practice. If you practice distraction, your brain becomes distracted. If you practice focus, your brain becomes focused. You practice positive self-talk. The words you say to yourself inside your mind shape who you are. So speak to yourself like you're speaking to a friend you love. You practice controlling your emotions. Don't let your emotions control your actions. Feel the emotion, but then choose your action consciously. And finally, you feed your brain the right information. Your brain is like a garden. Plant seeds of positivity, and you will grow positivity. The young woman listened carefully. She said, "That sounds actually possible." "It is possible," Lisa said. "It's not easy, but it's very possible. And when you master your brain, when you master your thoughts, everything changes. Not just your English speaking. Your entire life changes." Closing. And my friends, that is the lesson I want you to remember today. That is the message I want to leave with you. You are not your thoughts. Your brain produces thousands of thoughts every day, but you don't have to believe all of them. You don't have to obey all of them. You can choose which thoughts to follow and which to ignore. When your brain tells you that you can't speak English, it's lying. When your brain tells you that you're not smart enough, it's lying. When your brain tells you that you don't deserve success, it's lying. These are just thoughts, just patterns that your brain has created from fear and old habits, but they're not truth. And when you realize this, you become free. You can control your brain, you can retrain your brain, You can teach your brain new patterns, not by force, but by practice, by repetition, by doing small things consistently. Practice pausing before you believe your negative thoughts. Practice asking yourself, is this true or is this fear? Practice replacing lies with truth. Practice focus. Every single day, practice focusing on one thing without distractions. Your brain will adapt. Your focus will become stronger. Practice positive self-talk. Speak to yourself like you're speaking to someone you love. This simple change will transform your life. Practice controlling your emotions. Notice when an emotion appears. Name it. Breathe. Then choose your action consciously. Practice feeding your brain good information. Be careful about what you consume. Be careful about who you spend time with. Plant seeds of positivity, and you will grow positivity. And when you do all this, something incredible will happen. Your brain will change. Your thoughts will change. Your confidence will grow. Your English speaking will improve. Your entire life will transform. I want you to remember one sentence. A sentence that changed Lisa's life. And maybe it will change yours too. Listen carefully. I want to say this sentence, and I want you to repeat it after me. I am not my thoughts. I control my brain. I control my life. Say it with me. I am not my thoughts. I control my brain. I control my life. Say it again. I am not my thoughts. I control my brain. I control my life. One more time. I am not my thoughts. I control my brain. I control my life. Never forget that. Because when you feel negative thoughts attacking you, when you feel anxiety taking over, when you feel fear stopping you, you will remember this sentence. You will remember Lisa. You will remember that you have the power. Your brain belongs to you, not the other way around. Thank you so much for listening to Lisa's story. Thank you for listening to me. If this story inspired you, if this story showed you that change is possible, please subscribe to our channel for more stories about transformation, personal development, and English learning. These stories are designed to motivate you. These stories are designed to show you that you can do this. In the comments section below, I want you to write something. Write, I control my brain. Write it as a promise to yourself. Write it as a commitment. Thousands of people will see your comment. Thousands of people will be reminded that they have power. You will be reminding them, and they will be reminding you. Remember, your brain is incredibly powerful, but it's powerful in the direction you train it. Train it toward negativity, and you will be negative. Train it toward positivity, and you will be positive. Train it toward fear, and you will be afraid. Train it toward courage, and you will be courageous. The choice is yours. Every single day, you have the choice. What will you train your brain to believe? What seeds will you plant? What thoughts will you choose to follow? Your future is not determined by your circumstances. Your future is determined by the thoughts you choose to believe and the actions you choose to take. And both of these start in your brain. Master your brain. Master your life. Thank you, my friend. Until next time, keep controlling your thoughts. Keep feeding your brain good information. Keep speaking English. Keep growing. And most importantly, keep believing in yourself. Your future is bright.